as we begin, please join me in welcoming none other than the director himself, Nila Madhab Panda. Let's welcome him up in here. A very good afternoon, sir. How are you feeling today?
Well, very happy. It's a story I brought from my state, my soil. So very proud to present in Hindi cinema.
Fantastic. And I have a few questions for you before we proceed. Okay. So, what inspired you for this film, and is there a true story somewhere that inspired you?
Well, the reason I come from, which is western part of Odisha, it's a largely a tribal population area. It's it's basically we have seen almost 3 decades of man-made drought. Which was basically people were not saving water. Because of that, there was water scarcity, there was drought. So we have literally seen the value of water. When there is no water, what happens with that? How water becomes currency. So that has inspired me to create this story. And then rather than making a dark sort of art house cinema, I thought I'll make something, enjoyable, entertaining, yet create a message out of it so that rest of the world can get inspired from that story, which is what the whole idea of creating this film.
Did you feel obliged to set the story in Odisha because you belong there, or is the problem in the story a typical case?
No, I'm proud to. I mean, there's nothing to oblige, but yes, also as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, I would say that we hardly see anything from Odisha. So I think it's more or less probably the first Hindi film from Odisha, the story from Odisha. Yeah.
You've been personally involved in this cause-based cinema, be it with I Am Kalam or Jalpari, and now water. So is there a particular reason for this?
Well, every story is social if you see, It's not that I only make social cinema, even all those big blockbusters are also social cinema. So my films are, it comes from the experience which I had, I have lived with or I have seen the story. So probably it is more close to people, the stories are like that. And the Green Village, where the Sarpanch who won the President Award had spent a lot of time with Gulsanji. So Gulsanji was really inspired with that guy, Gumla. I'll just add on to that. एक बड़ा interesting सा मुद्दा है कि even actors they said, is it about the future of India? If the film is futuristic, जैसे शेखर कपूर बना रहे हैं कि 50 साल के बाद मुंबई क्या होगा. तो मैंने कहा कि ये सिचुएशन अब है. So one of the interesting part of the film is, although the story I have driven from Western Odisha, but the elements which is there in the films are from different parts of the country. So one of the part is when you see this village for sale, which is right here, in Vidarbha district. There are a lot of village which had the hoarding saying that village for sale because there was no water, there was farmer suicide, lot of things. In Bundelkhand, if you go, there are like hundreds of farmer committing suicide because of this. And there is a very recent story, both in Madhya Pradesh and in Maharashtra, where the man went and married 3 times just to fetch water because the water is quite far. He said, the only way I can get water is if I have 2-3 women who will fetch water for me. So this is present India. Forget about the other country, what is happening,
Hi, my question is to Nila. Of course, this is a story from a region where you belong to. You have got the essence and everything. There is also one song, the Rangapati song, which has been used in the film, but it's in Hindi, for which you've kind of received a lot of flack. Would you like to explain what is the reason behind and how do you see the criticism?
Well, I'm somebody who is out of, I hate controversy, all those stuff. But the song came into, when you think of, I grew up with that song called Rangapati. It comes from my region. And when we, Deepak Venkatesan, who is the writer, when he started writing, there was one point of time when there is a celebration of rice. So, forget about Odisha only, you go to Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, anywhere, celebration of rice, new rice is a big thing. So the first thing comes in mind to celebrate that is a song. Song what? Which we have been hearing for last 4-5 decades. We've been like living with that song. That's how Rangapati comes into the film. And of course it's not, you'd say, I'm not putting the original Rangapati, it is inspired from Rangapati. It's like a similar milieu, in terms of the lyrics, the music, beautiful lyrics which is written by Pratik Majumdar. It's about about a beautiful woman and her connotation with the water, the land, the green, the rice, everything, and how we celebrate in front of the God. Well, something really hurt me always is when I see people eating and leave food, If you don't eat that much, you should not take. And the whole idea of give it up is a very interesting concept that any of us who has extra cloth, extra food, extra gas, whatever, we should give it up.